Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Okay, so after the fun and success I think I had building the Battle Droid at 1/6 scale model kit, check out my other videos for that, I thought I'd go out and see what else I could get at the same 1/6 scale. So it wasn't long before I found out that, official kits there's very little, but 3D printing there's a lot out there. So I tracked down this. I just bought this off eBay, so I didn't print it myself, but this is a 1/6 scale model kit of Cad Bane, and it's really nice. It took a couple of weeks for me to receive this, because obviously the seller had to print them on order, on demand. But it's come out really nice. I've cleaned it up and I've spent a long time sanding and getting it into a workable state. So it's obviously made of resin. So I think what I'm going to have to do is clean it before I start to prep it for painting. But yeah, it's actually really nice details. And as I say, it's in the scale I want, which is the good thing. And it should be good fun to paint this up. I've looked at some pictures online to get reference idea for colour schemes. He's a lot of brown, a lot of purple, old Cad Bane. This is his outfit from the... It's not from the Clone Wars series, it's from Bad Batch, I believe. But yeah, it's a nice model, and it should all slot together quite nicely. What I'm probably going to do is glue him into place in parts first and then paint. I'm undecided because it depends how bad the seam lines are between the joints. The worst one is between... I'm going to have to, I think, glue these two sections together first, because if you can see there's quite a gap there, so I'm going to have to try and fill that. You could probably get away with it, to be honest. Once it's on a shelf on a distance, you're not going to see that gap, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, obsessive with this. There is a couple of bits where the print didn't come out properly. You can see that there's a couple of end pieces of the bullets that are missing. Thankfully it's mostly on the back, while there is a couple on the front there. I don't think it matters too much, really. I'm sure if I said to the seller that I wanted a replacement, he probably would do it, but it's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is wash the piece, then I'm going to spray it an undercoat black, just a matte black, and then we start the fun stage of the painting. Alright, see you in a bit. And here I'm just covering the base with PVA, and doing the old-fashioned covering it with sand trick. I'm going to make the base look a bit like it's Tatooine or one of those Star Wars planets. And here comes the messy bit, hence the paper towel. It's just a case of covering the whole thing in sand and a little bit of small rocks. Make sure it gets good coverage around the whole base. While that's drying, I'm going to now tackle the gaps. I've glued the torso to the legs and into the boots. I've got quite a large gap here and quite a large gap, well, I say large, not too bad, around the waist, but we can do better than that. So what I'm going to do is use some of this Green Stuff World green putty. It's supposed to be quite a fine little amount that comes out there. I'm just going to work it into the gaps. And here he is, all primed. Onto the painting. I haven't really got much of a plan in mind. I'm just going to wing it, really. I'll start with the skin, probably work my way down the model. So what I ended up doing in the end is the arms are still detached, as is the head. Everything else is glued into place. And here is the head all finished. Pretty pleased with how that came out. Didn't take too long at all, really. In case you're wondering how I got the skin colour, I used Vallejo Magic Blue and I highlighted it with a combination of white and Temple Guard Blue from Citadel. This was, I think, a perfect colour for his skin. That came out really nicely. And here's that head on the body. Looking pretty good so far. I quite like the look actually of just him being in black. Maybe that's his night suit. Perhaps I'll just leave the model that colour. And here is the torso, all complete. And here is the reference I'm using for the paint scheme. It's hard to actually see what the actual true colours are, because obviously the cartoon has a stylised palette, and a lot of the colour is obviously being influenced by surrounding colour. So seeing what the true colour is isn't easy, but I'm trying to get as close as I can. So I'm having fun so far. I'm going to continue to work down the model. I'm going to take the challenge of the arms next. Let's see how we get on. And here are the arms all finished. Took a little longer than I was expecting. There's quite a lot of detail on them, particularly a lot of panels, a lot of straps. Combination of dry brushing, stippling, inks, washes. Nothing too difficult really. Again, when you're working on a model this scale, you look at the leather straps there. That was just achieved with dark browns, dark washes, and then stippling of a couple of light browns. And I think the little few colours, I say, like the gold on the poppers there, the light blue on the dart, it really helps the rest of it really pop. So let's stick these on the model and see how he's looking. Oh, sorry for that, I'm holding the camera in one hand. Okay, there he is. Okay, liking how it looks so far. Now I've got to do the rest of the model. So I'll be back soon. And that's the waist down to the boots done. Took a little while, especially to do all the bullets on the gun belt there. But again, pretty happy with how it's coming out. Fairly simple so far. Okay, just the last little bit now, just to finish off the boots and do the base, and I think we're going to be done. And here we go with the last piece done. Okay, the only thing left to do now is glue the arms and head back on, and we should have a finished model. And now it's time for the final reveal. I'm really pleased with how this one came out. It was a lot of fun to paint. Really enjoyed the process. I'd say the model itself is fantastically sculpted, and it's really easy to paint. Just sort of take your time and enjoy the process, and you can get some fantastic results. I did a couple of final touches. I sealed the paint job with just a spray sealer, and then I did a slight gloss finish on the sights of the guns. I did a slight satin varnish finish on some of the buttons, and also on his eyes. To give his eyes a slight reflective quality. I appreciate I didn't really show much of the paint. Most of these sort of videos really is kind of my idea really is more of a review of the actual product itself. So I really recommend
picking this one up, I'll add the information into the description so you can track down the person who actually created this. He's got an amazing YouTube video where he shows the process of actually sculpting this. Highly recommend giving it a watch, just to see how much effort goes into building something like this. I finished off the base. I did the classic Tatooine style basing, just threw some sand, what you saw earlier, I threw some sand and rocks down, painted it up. I tried to follow all the colour choices as best I could using reference material. His boots, they're sort of, yeah, surprisingly green from what I could see. It doesn't, when I first put them down, it looked a bit odd that he had these sort of green wellies, so I tried to break up the colour a little bit with the straps and the shoes. And I sort of did a mottled effect on the paint just so to make it look slightly more interesting and less sort of stark green there. So what's next? I've enjoyed this so much that I actually have purchased my own 3D printer. So as I mentioned before, when I bought this guy ready printed off eBay, but I've now since bought a 8K Elegoo, I think it's the Saturn II printer. So now there's going to be no stopping me. So I've joined up a couple of Patreons, and so I'm hoping to, yeah, you know, really get into it. I've been printing little pieces here and there, trying to get to grips with the printer. It's not straightforward, but I'm learning as I'm going along. So hopefully the next one won't be too long now, and it'll be one that I've printed myself. So the last final thing to do, which is the most fun thing to do, is to find him a home. So here he is, just temporarily sat next to the battle droid that I made recently. That's also on my channel. But I've already picked out a spot for him in the collection, and he's gonna make his way into a glass cabinet. So here he's gonna sit next to Greedo. Now the Greedo statue is by Gentle Giants, and as you can see it's 1/6 scale as well, which is my favourite scale for statues. So let's get him tilted to the right way, and this is where he's gonna live. For the time being anyway, until I start building too many statues and run out of room. Here he is. Okay, take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.